Hello, hello. So, I thought we could talk about Daniel Smith watercolor sticks, and I'm feeling very inspired by fall today because some of my trees are turning and they are just so pretty. And these leaves are gorgeous, all the different colors. So, loving it. Thanks, fall. So yeah, I thought we could get this started by maybe just looking at some of the different colors. I don't have all these sticks, but I have quite a few. So I can show you what we've got. These two are empty because I have kind of set them aside to be like, I want to work with these for sure. So I hardly ever use Moon Glow because it's got a fugitive pigment in it, PR177, anthracanoid red. It fades. Kimberly Crick called attention to that a while ago. And so she's created some alternatives that you can use. But, you know, I haven't played with that paint in a while, or the stick for that matter, so I thought I'd play with it. And I want to play with some violet, so I've got the Carbazole violet out. I also pulled out the Hematite Genuine, which is one of our earth colors. It's pretty red, violet-ish in color. And as you can see, I'm kind of just swirling it around in a little bit of water because these are water soluble, right? So they're essentially like Daniel Smith pan paints, except they're a stick. And you can just take them straight to the paper if you want. And they are the equivalent of 3 pans worth of paint. So they're very highly concentrated, very pigmented, but they use the exact same pigments and the exact same binder. So these are beautiful. And the nice thing about the sticks too, not every color of Daniel Smith is available on the sticks, but a very good selection is. Some of them are even the Primatex, as you can see, right? A couple Primatex, but they are all the same price, no matter which pigments are in it. No matter how expensive or cheap the pigments are, they're all the same price, and they are around $10 to $13, sometimes less, depending on if there's a sale going on. So hey, pretty cool. Oh yeah, I'll keep bringing these out. So got those guys. Here's some more. We've got some blues now. I've got Sodalite Genuine and Danthrin Blue, Cobalt Blue, Phthalo Blue red shade. Okay, so that's closer to the red end of the spectrum. It's still a cool blue, but it's much closer to like a primary blue. And then Prussian Blue, which is warm. Okay, we've also got, let's see here, we have got some Phthalo Turquoise and Cobalt Teal Blue and Cerulean Blue Chromium. And what's the difference between Cerulean Blue and Cerulean Blue Chromium? Well, besides the addition of a chromium group, it is a little bit more pigmented. You can pack more pigment in. They can pack more tightly. So compared to regular Cerulean Blue, this is actually kind of nice. Regular Cerulean Blue doesn't have a very high tint strength. It looks kind of weak, but it's a very beautiful color. It's the color of the sky on a gorgeous day, and it's granulating. The chromium is also granulating, but it doesn't look as obviously granulating because of how tightly the pigment is packed. Okay, then I've got some greens. I've got sap green, and I have got phthalo green yellow shade. Okay. Most phthalo greens by default are the green shade, which means that they are closer to blue than they are to yellow. This one is kind of more in the middle of green. It's a little bit closer to yellow. Okay, more greens. We've got Serpentine Genuine, Undersea Green. That's one of my favorites. I think everyone loves that one. Rich Green Gold, Nickel Azo Yellow, one of my favorites for sure. Quinacridone Gold, always a treasure. Let's see, we've got Hematite Genuine. Oh, This is Piemontite genuine, not I misspoke earlier. I called this one that I'm swirling around hematite. So that's our Piemontite. Here's hematite. I've got quinacridone burnt scarlet over here too. And I have got burnt sienna, burnt umber, graphite gray, lamp black, and titanium white. And I didn't bring out my electric blue. I have one of the, well, there's two actually, of the luminescent paints that are made into sticks. There's the white pearlescent and then electric blue. Oh, there's a third one too. There's like the raspberry. I forget what it's called. Something raspberry. But since we're not using black paper, I didn't bring those three out. So anyway, and lamp black, oh, lunar black I have. Sorry, lunar black is very, very, very granulating. Lamp black is the blackest black. It's the black, black, black. It's composed of very fat, opaque pigments that kind of lay on top of each other and block out light. So it's the blackest black you can get. But lunar black is fun. It makes a lot of interesting textures. Anyway, so that's what we've got selection-wise. So if anyone has a request, go ahead and type it in. Otherwise, I'm just going to go with my gut, and we'll just play with these. I'll kind of show you how they work, really. Get these out of the way. So there's a few different ways you can use these guys. Like you might imagine, since they are shaped as such, you can use it like a crayon and just like draw on the paper with it dry. So let's do that with one of our dry ones. Let's do that with some of our carbazole. Let me move these pretty little leaves. Move them over here. I brought out the big boy today too. This is my Arches 18 by 24 blocks. So it's just a 300-pound paper, 300 GSM paper, 140 pound. Okay, so dry, right? And you can get it on like one of the points if you want, or you can lay it more flat, or turn it to the side and get kind of a broader stroke here. Yeah, and it's fun. Like, it is fun to just kind of let loose, right? In fact, I often, when I'm playing with these, I stand up and make sure that I'm moving my arm even from my shoulder, right, rather than my wrist. So I can do some fine control up here in my wrist and in my fingers and in my elbow, but I try to move from my shoulder because then my lines will look more confident. They will look less hesitant, and yeah, if you screw up, you screw up, but your lines will look better. So anyway, so there's that. Let me grab a brush here. Let's see. We'll use, I'm going to use a 10 round here. Could probably go bigger, but see, and so we just get it wet, and voila, it is water soluble. All right. Yeah, and as you go along here, you'll notice that I am losing water, but I'm like getting more concentrated too. Okay, so yeah, dry though, and that's how you dry brush, by the way. Dry brush. Let's get it wetter though. Let me get some more wet. Yeah, look at how gorgeous. Yeah, Carbazole Violet is very pretty. It's closer to blue than it is to red, but it's fairly close to the middle. There's not all that many violets and warm blues on our color wheel. There's big gaps because we don't have a lot of artist materials that can realize a lot of the colors there, and our eyeballs are not particularly good at discriminating between all the different violets either. So anyway, very pretty. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, let's grab a different color though. Let's get some, yeah, I'll do some quinacridone coral. I like this one. So this is a warm red, technically, but it has very peach and like pinky peach. Look, that's the one I did it too, splatter. Okay. Very pinky peach kind of undertones, right? Now, if you get it more concentrated, it's more obviously a warm red. But when it's diluted like this, it looks like it's a cool red. It's one thing about quinacridone coral I really like. It's very versatile. Yeah. Look at how pretty. So I can just pull it right off of my stick, and as you'll see, you know, I can still manipulate this carbazole over here, right? It doesn't, when it dries, it doesn't automatically become immovable or permanent necessarily. I mean, these are permanent light fast paints, but they're still activatable. That's what I'm going for. They're still water soluble. And that would be to like contrast with, say, the Derwent ink tints. I love those too, and they come in pencils, they come in blocks, they come in pan paints, and now the extra large blocks. Those are pigmented. Yes, they have pigments in them and not dyes, but they're ink. So after they dry on your page, they become permanent, which kind of can be a strategic thing. It's kind of cool. But yeah, they're very vibrant too because they're ink rather than watercolor. So, all right. So that's way number 2. Way number 3 would be to hold your stick in some water here and go to my page. Oh yeah, see, and look how concentrated that is. But it softens up the end of my stick there and starts to dissolve it in the water. So, and I can go over places that are still kind of wet, and it dissolves them. It dissolves the stick a little bit as well. So that does mean that if I've got wet paper, it's the same thing as if I had dunked my stick. Okay. And speaking of ways to be loose, even though we weren't speaking of that, I'm going to speak of it. If you are a right-handed person, try painting with your left hand if you need to be loose, okay? So if you're trying to be loose and it's a struggle and you just have a hard time giving up that control, paint with your non-dominant hand. Yeah, I mean, it might look ridiculous, but so what? You're having fun. That's the point. Oh, this is so pretty. See, most warm reds too would look ridiculous or not as nice with the carbazole anyway. It would make a more muted, kind of subdued mixture of. But this is very vibrant. It's lovely, and it's because the undertones of this quinacridone coral are so cool looking. Yeah. And quin coral is PR209. This is one of the quinacridones that they're talking about being a shortage of. So I know I have stocked up extra on some of my favorites, and it's going to be a while, right? Like, don't panic. We don't all need to rush to the art store like the beginning of COVID and go buy all the paints or buy all the toilet paper. No need for that yet. But every now and then, just buy an extra tube of the ones that they're going to be running out of. Ooh, I'm starting to see stuff in this. Are you? No, I am. I'm getting punk rock vibes, like Gem and the holograms. Okay. So yeah. So let's see. We did dry. We did wet, wet. We did pull off, some pigment off with the brush. How about, let's grab a different color. Maybe, I don't want to pull out the moon glow quite yet. Let's maybe do some phthalo blue red shade. Yeah. All right. So for this one, I'm going to actually cut off a chunk of it, and we're going to dissolve it in that bowl, and we'll busy ourselves with something else while we do that. So I've got my crafty scissors here, and I'm just yeah, that's good. And look, that's not very much pigment at all, but that's going to be enough. And I blew off the dust. Any little dust that you've got is going to be activatable. Okay, I only put a few drops even in there. And I'll just let this kind of sit. Yeah. You know what? I want to bring in some cobalt. Okay. Yeah, cobalt teal blue. And I'm thinking a little bit about my colors. I can't help it, even though I'm trying to be more spontaneous. So, just for the sake of being sort of strategic-ish, I'm going to make some notes here. We'll make some notes together, okay? So we have got, think about color wheel stuff. So we've got quinacridone coral. And I might go grab my color wheel actually, okay? And we've got carbazole violet. And we've already talked about bringing in some phthalo blue red shade. Oh my gosh, there's a hornet on my arm. Oh my gosh, don't panic. Oh, thank God. Okay. I don't like bugs. Alright. Phthalo blue red shade. And cobalt teal. Yeah, blue. Okay, I'm going to go run and grab my color wheel. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay. I hope you didn't fall asleep. I fell asleep. Okay. Here we go. So, I brought several out actually. Okay. Because they all look different. Or they can. But I didn't bring out my favorite one though. My favorite one is actually Handprint's artist color wheel. And he does his color wheel for watercolorists because he is one. And his color wheel is a little bit more exact in the position of all the colors and their relationship to each other for mixing purposes anyway. Okay, so what have we got so far though? We have got quin coral, we've got a warmer red, okay, over here. We've got carbazole violet over here. We have got we're going to be using cobalt teal blue, which is all the way over here in the greenies. And then we're going to be using phthalo blue red shade, which is kind of close to right where my index finger is right now. Okay, so this almost looks like this color scheme, right? 1, 2, 3, boot. But it's not quite. So we've got 1, 2, 3. It's an off center, so the orange would be the better complement to this grouping. But I don't know, whatever. Handprint would actually disagree with this wheel anyway, and I'll tell you why. And it's because this is going to be harmonious anyway, and you'll feel like it's harmonious, even though that wheel is telling us it's not going to be necessarily, right? Because there are the different schemes they want you to do. There's split complementary, there's a complementary, triad, tetrad, there's analogous color schemes, and analogous would be choosing colors that are next to each other. And then sometimes you shoot across the circle to get one for a splash of discord, right? Splash of opposition. But anyway, those are those. And I bet you our blue here is dissolved a little more. And it has, so it's going to need a little help. Let's give it some help. Oh, see? Easy peasy. Oh, and look at how concentrated that is. It's beautiful. I've got a little bit of a couple little chunks still in there that are not melted or dissolved, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. That's lovely. And I'll let them kind of keep going. And I don't think I want to put this blue on here naked because it is awfully bright. So what if we were to take one of our other colors and kind of grind it into the bowl with this water, and we can melt it that way a little bit. So how am I going to neutralize this very, very bright blue? Well, its complement will do it. We could also add a little bit of black. I don't want to do that. Black, as you know, uses opaque pigments most of the time, and it flattens it in watercolor. It flattens it. I don't want our painting to look flat. Well, what other choices do we have? Well, we could use a neutral tint. Neutral tint helps desaturate. Yeah. I could use Payne's Gray, except Payne's Gray doesn't come in a stick. Or I could just, yeah, like I said, start with its complement. So the complement of this bright, lovely blue is some orange. Pure orange. Okay, and if you wanted to ever verify it, we can get out a piece of scratch paper here, right? And we could do a little swatch and test it. So let's get some of our blue. And let's do some of our green here. We'll mix them together on the page a little bit. Why, yes, that does kind of desaturate my blue. Yeah, I haven't neutralized it yet because I haven't added enough orange, but that's going to be kind of what we want. Let's double check. Let's see what we can do if we add more. Oh, very pretty. And actually it's going a little bit violet, isn't it? What that means, if I had gone violet, or if I go brown, it's not a perfect complement. And if I go a little bit violet, I would need to add maybe a little bit of some yellow or a yellow-green to balance that out. So I should have used a cooler color than this one. Okay, that's all right. What we can do is grab, I'm going to give it just a little bit of this bismuth vanadate yellow. Okay, let's see what this does. There we go. Boom shock alaka. We've got a neutral gray. Okay? So, how did I do that? Let's pull this out. Okay, so we had, now according to these color circles, they're going to be, we were picking the right color, okay? Keep that in mind. These are ideal color circles. These are not reality. These are not what our materials tell us necessarily. And if I was using a color chart that I swatched with these colors, we would get a better idea of what the actual complement is, okay? Okay. So, we started with this blue, and it's, you know, a little bit closer to the blue-violet side of things than it is over this way, okay? So we did this blue, and then we tried to mix it with an orange, and the orange that I was going to mix it with, or was trying to, is Pyrrole Orange. Pyrrole Orange is maybe right over here. So you can kind of tell it's not exactly the opposite, because if it was, my blue would be closer to the blue-green. So, no. So I needed to add a little bit of yellow. I didn't need to necessarily overshoot and go to this cool of a yellow, which is what I did. But by doing that, I only had to add a little bit just to kind of correct the course. Okay? And then we've got our neutral. Anyway, for the purposes of this, I'm okay with just using some of that orange to tone down and to desaturate my blue. I'm not really interested in getting the neutral gray. I'm only interested in toning it down. And I like the fact that it's giving me a violet rather than a brown, because that tells me it's swinging to the cooler side of things. Shadows are more convincing as shadows when they're cooler than warmer. Okay? So, anyway, let's do this then. So we feel like, yeah, we can do some of this. Let's just tone it down. There we go. And let's see what that looks like even. I'll swatch it on my little card here. Yeah, that did tone it down. I like that blue. Okay. Well, what are we feeling here? I agree. Going right here. And look how bright this blue is. I mean, this was a blue then that I dissolved. Okay? Look at how pigmented. It is gorgeous. Yeah. It's thick and creamy and delightful on my brush. Okay. I'm having fun. I want a bigger brush almost. In fact, I do. I want a bigger brush. It means I'll need to add a little bit more water to things, which is fine. I can do that. But I've been liking the big brushes these days. So, let's grab this one. I'm going to grab a Raven. So this is made by Jackson's Art, and it's a synthetic squirrel. Size 6 Raven. This is their biggest synthetic squirrel quill brush. And quill brush just means that it's got this ferrule, you know, where it's wrapped like this. That's what a quill is, okay? That's the only difference between it really and the what we call a round. So the rounds don't have a wire wrap like this. Okay? Alright. Get my brush wet. Look, it just soaks up most of that now. Okay. Yeah, this is going to play well with the quinacridone coral too. And that's another thing, the quinacridone coral, if it was as warm as some of the other reds, it would be close to being complementary to this blue, and it's not that close, right? It's playing more like a cool red. Alright, let's do, yeah, I think we need some more of this blue. I'm mixing more up. Oh yeah, and I'm going to get a little bit more of my orange in here too, because more of that chunk was dissolving. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to test it. Okay. Yeah, I'm digging. And actually, I'm digging enough that I'm going to put a little bit of this in here too. So I'm at 3 pigments right now. 2 of them are on the same side of the circle though. So I'm not going to get mud. Okay. You want to see what that does to me? Not going to do a whole lot because I know our cobalt teal blue here takes a little bit more coaxing to dilute very well. Yeah, see, it hasn't done a whole lot. What it's probably done mostly is given it some more granulation. Now, there wasn't any to begin with, but there might be a little bit now. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Alright, let's play. I think what I'll do too, once I've got some more marks down, is bring in my cobalt teal to help break up some of this. And I'm going to want something yellow or green too to bring in. Okay, this is nice and thick. Oh, that's a big chunk of pigment. Let me get a little bit more water in here. And let's give it a little bit of violet. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty. Mm-hmm. This is enjoyable. Yeah. Okay. I like what I've got going on there. I'm just gonna get some wetness going. Just a little bit of this. I don't want you to go quite yet, yo. Sorry, I talk to the paint. It's hard for me to talk to the camera sometimes. Okay, let's give it a second one. I'm letting what I'm trying to do, giving some of this pigments time to settle into the paper and kind of sink in a touch before I let the water run. And it's going to carry some of it with it anyway. Okay. Another thing I could do if I really wanted it to stay the way that it's looking right now is I could grab a towel. I'm very carefully doing that off the side over here. And I can just let the capillary action here kind of pull some of this up. Yeah. And get rid of some of the puddle. Okay, we're gonna go. Maybe. There we go. I can coax it if I need to. If I want to. Maybe I want that leading edge to stay right there. Okay. Fun. Alright, let's get some of this. I think what I will playing with fire there. Alright. Yeah. Cobalt teal is a little bit harder to dissolve in these sticks. It makes sense to me, knowing that the way that the pigment is. You know, it's like some of the earth tones that take a little bit more work to re-wet. So do a lot of the cobalts, and yeah. Yeah. I like this. I'm even gonna score, I think, I'm gonna score this. I'm gonna get that scoring brush somewhere. Maybe not in that one. Okay. Oh. We could bring in dagger striper. Those are fun. Okay. Why not? Yeah, there we go. I know how all my Isabeys have. They've got the wedge on the bottom. That's what I was looking for. score. Okay, so I like to do that sometimes, I don't know. And what it does when you do that, it leaves a divot, and especially because the paper is wet right now and it's malleable, and that divot is going to allow for paint to settle more deeply and to settle more thickly into those ruts that I made. Yeah. Okay. What do we have going on over here? I can tell there's something else that we're missing. I think maybe that's where our yellow or green comes in, or yellow-green, or what am I feeling? If this was regular green gold and not rich green gold, I feel like this would be the winner. I can always go grab my... Oh, I'm okay with this, actually. Yeah, let's do it. Because when it's diluted, it'll be more yellowy. Yeah. Okay. How do we want this one to go? Let's see. How about we just... Yeah. I'm going to do some splotches. I usually don't like the old splotches, but... Badass. Alright. Not wet enough. Okay. Here we go. This is almost too small for this page, though. If I had something more delicate and small, it'd be probably more appropriate. I just like these brushes. Daggers are fun. They are fun in florals. They make some awesome, like, petals and leaves. Just, like, interesting shapes. And whenever I get a new brush, too, I will play. Like, I'll just get out a big piece of paper and see what all the different strokes do. Just play with it. Yeah, oh my goodness. This was the right choice. Look at how happy these colors are together. I can taste. It's yummy. I have a synesthesia, partial synesthesia, so looking at colors like this, especially when I allow myself to smell them, I get a smell. Kind of a taste in my mouth. Yeah. Okay. And we need a little bit over here. I'm going to switch brushes, though. Okay. And let's move this. I don't like where my stuff's sitting over here. Sorry, I'm off the camera there. Like, okay, that's better. Do this. I'm just going to kind of dry rub where I want it, and then I can get it wet later. Activate it later. I just want a little bit here to counterpoint the red, okay? Because these are contrasting, these are complementary. It's going to be counterpoint to the coral. Okay. Yeah. That's right, we got a little nugget over here. Okay. That's beautiful. I don't know if I've ever done a spontaneous this slowly. I usually go fast, because I don't want to start thinking too much, you know? It's hard for me to stop thinking. Those thinkers, thinking types. Okay, let's use... Yeah. Okay. I like that. And I'm going to actually grab a smaller brush. Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to grab my violet again. I want to melt just a little bit. I'm going to grind some of this. Yeah. Perfect. So this is going to be pretty close to complementary to this. Okay. That green and this violet here. Yep. Green, or excuse me, yellow and purple are not complements in watercolor. Not in reality. Try it. Try mixing a violet and a yellow. You're not going to get gray. Not unless it's way far at the end of its turf. Both of them. See? Look, it's actually reacting with our rich green gold. Okay? And it is mixing and canceling each other out just a little bit. I like this. Okay. Alright, I need to go get some fresh water. So I think I'm actually going to stop the live for right now, guys. And I will keep recording. And maybe I'll rejoin the live or whatever. Or maybe I'll just do the rest of this on my own. But, oh, hi Lisa. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad to see you. Sorry, I am so slow at acknowledging people. Like, I need someone. And actually, the first day of class, when we start, my workshop in a couple weeks, I'm going to have a personal assistant of sorts there virtually to be like, Ray, you've got comments and questions. Because I am so bad at doing that. I am so bad at reading them. Yeah. Yep. Anyway. Maybe if I had a different setup, like, I don't know, maybe I need to put something in front of my face. But if you're still here, Lisa, I am grateful to see you. I see I've got, yeah, okay. So I am going to go ahead and shut down for now. I'll either return for more live, or I will just end up posting some video with more footage of this loveliness, okay? But I think I did a pretty thorough-ish job of explaining how to use the sticks. And there are some really good videos out there on YouTube of using them to make a painting, right? So, all right, everyone. Thank you kindly.